You go to another company to show what you've learned and what your value is to where you can get more. If they really don't like that, then you can go and start your own damn business because we have a free market, laissez-faire, capitalist society, allegedly, to where you can actually go off and do your own thing.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right it is. Welcome back into the program. It is a pre-Friday celebration, the greatest day of the entire week because we see the light at the end of the tunnel. Friday right around the corner. I know you're excited. I'm excited. You scream, I scream. We all scream for ice cream. I love, however, I go live, and before the radio program actually starts, we got our live streams up and going for all of the different sites that pick us up on the interweb and for our own personal social media. And I'm talking, introducing what's coming up on the show, getting things ready. And then the intro starts, and we're about ready to get going live. And I look over, and the live video stream, for some reason, had the audio setting changed, and nothing's going out on the audio. So they get the show now, but man, the whole prelude of me like talking to myself, apparently it was just that, talking to myself and no one even knowing what the heck I was saying. Welcome into the show. Great to have you along for the ride today. Broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship radio station all over the country, radio, TV, live streaming, and podcasting, however you watch or listen to the show. Welcome aboard. We love you to death. You're a Millennial General reporting for duty like I do every single day. Don't want to waste any time. We have a lot to get to today, and we want to jump right off the bat with it. Bottom of the hour, John Tamny. He is author of the book, The Money Confusion, as we talk about the FTX crypto scandal. I don't even know what that entails, so we'll look forward to chatting with him. But right now, I want to shift gears, as just earlier this morning, we sat down with Senator out of the great state of Oklahoma, Senator James Lankford, to talk about what's going on with the latest votes in Washington, D.C., and this is what he had to say right here on the Voice of Reason. Senator, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. Good to talk with you. You guys didn't waste any time getting back up to D.C. after the midterm elections of 2022, and already the Democrats trying to ram through some stuff left and right, and it's been frustrating because we haven't even had a chance to change leadership yet, which I'm guessing is why they're trying to ram through as much as they are right now.
It is actually. They're trying to be able to cram through as much as they possibly can in the time after the election and before the transition in the House of Representatives to new leadership and new direction over there. And it has been busy with both a bill on same-sex marriage. They've worked their way through. We've been fighting through the National Defense Authorization that should have been done months ago. And then the major spending for all of the federal agencies. Those bills were due to be done in September. They've never even been brought up to committee, and Senator Schumer says he plans to bring them up next week or maybe the next. But this is $1.5 trillion in a spending bill that no one has even seen nor had an opportunity to even discuss in a committee that Senator Schumer wants to bring up. So it is a very, very full December.
Yeah, it's a full December. Let's start off with the Respect for Marriage Act is what they're calling it. Senator, I don't understand why we need this bill. We already have the Supreme Court that said that you have the constitutional right to be married if you are gay or whatever, part of the LGBTQ community. Why do we need this bill, and what was the whole purpose of them trying to ram this through?
Well, that was my number one question when this is already protected by the Supreme Court since 2015. Why is this bill needed was my exact question on it, and the answer is when you read the text of it, not the title, but when you read the actual text of it, you find out why this is needed. This allows individuals that feel that they have been quote-unquote harmed. That's the language in the bill. If they feel like they've been harmed by another individual who disagrees with same-sex marriage, they can file a lawsuit against them to try to put damages on them for disagreeing with them on same-sex marriage. So this is designed to not give respect to all people. This is designed to be able to tilt the scales towards one group. There is not religious liberty protections for individuals that disagree. They can't file a lawsuit if they're discriminated against, but individuals that feel like they are discriminated against based on their preferences on same-sex marriage, they can file suit against others to try to silence them and make sure that people can't speak out and disagree. So this is going to cause lawsuits all over the country in the days ahead, and that's what it's designed to do, to try to silence disagreement.
Well, that is a cause for concern, especially like you mentioned, the religious liberty. Now, our church is protected. I mean, obviously, you would think in a normal world that if a church disagrees with your point of view, you're probably not going to that church anyways. But does this open up the opportunity for lawsuits to say, hey, I'm going to go and test this ability to have this church do this performance for me, and if they don't, then I'm going to go ahead and sue them? Is that what we're looking at in the future here with this bill?
Well, it could be in the days ahead. I'm sure someone will test that out. The language of the bill does protect churches, that they don't have to perform a same-sex marriage. So it's very particular in the way that it writes it, that they don't have to participate in any kind of ceremony. But the next question is if they cooperate with government for anything. In other words, if they do a homeless shelter, they partner with the city on, or an adoption agency or foster care entity or a food pantry that they cooperate with the city on. If they cooperate with city or government at all, that puts them in liability then, that they can be sued to be able to silence them or force them to be able to change. So it's going to cause a lot of chaos and a lot of lawsuits saying, okay, yes, you don't have to perform the ceremony, but if you want to be a participant in anything in your community, we're going to find a way to be able to try to push you back and silence you. That's where the real threat's going to be.
Yeah, it seems like they've continued to push the envelope since the case a few years ago with the baker out of Colorado that didn't want to bake the cake for the gay wedding. And
Right.
Since then, it's just, if you don't agree with us, then we're just going to completely abuse you and take you to court and make you spend lots of money and try and punish you for it.
It is actually. There was actually a case in the Supreme Court this Monday. In fact, I was on the steps of the Supreme Court Monday speaking out on this in a small rally event that had happened. The case is called 303 Creative. It is a website designer in Colorado that she creates websites and has done for years, but she's also a Christian. And so she has on her website, hey, I don't do websites that have profanity. I don't do websites that talk about certain religious issues that disagree with my faith. I also don't do websites for same-sex marriages. It's against my religion. Well, the state of Colorado filed suit against her and said, you can't say that on your site. You need to instead say that you will do same-sex marriages on your website. And so she's taken this case all the way to the Supreme Court because literally the state of Colorado is forcing her to say something that she disagrees with based on her faith. And so that now is in front of the Supreme Court. It's not just Jack the Cake Baker. It's now also a website designer that the state of Colorado is trying to be able to take them all the way to the Supreme Court and have.
Good golly, it never ends. We're talking with U.S. Senator James Lankford from the state of Oklahoma. Let's shift gears to economic issues. You and I love to talk about this issue, and we've talked about it before regarding the federal budget. We've yet to pass an actual federal budget with the 12 appropriations bills. We haven't done it since the Obama administration. But now we're up again with a continuing resolution that ends on, in the next week or so here on the 16th, I believe. And
16th.
And again, we're not looking at passing an actual federal budget. It's just, are we going to pass a continuing resolution, which I'm sure there's going to be even more spending included into it. And if we don't pass it, then we're the most horrible human beings on the face of the earth that's going to shut down the government and let people die in the streets, right?
Yeah, that's what we're up against. So none of us have even seen a draft of the spending bill. This is $1.5 trillion plus in new spending that Senator Schumer wants to do that's related to all of our federal agencies. It's everything from agriculture and education to transportation. It's all included for all of the agencies. The way this is designed to happen is each of the 12 bills gets debated in committee. It comes before the Senate. They get debated, and they work along. None of these bills have even been to subcommittee, much less full committee. No one has seen any of the text on any of these bills, and it's all due to be done by December the 16th. And this will be thousands and thousands of pages of text. And so it is very frustrating the way that Senator Schumer has done the clock management here. But we're facing that again. And you're right, it's going to be government shutdown, or it's going to be continuing resolution, which just means keep spending the same amount we did last year, just do that again, or whatever this giant bill is going to be. So we're fighting our way through this, trying to be able to talk through what we think might be in it, but no one has seen the text actually know what might be in it and won't know until probably late next week.
We just need to use the plan from Nancy Pelosi, right? We need to pass it to see what's in it. I mean, that's the philosophy today, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's where they are. So the National Defense Authorization is actually on the floor of the House this week. Is one that Senator Inhofe has worked through, but that has gone through committee, that's gone through process. People are well aware of the details that are in it. I've worked through different issues for our bases and posts all around Oklahoma. There's a VA program in Tulsa that we've been very diligent on. That's including this bill. We're aware of what's in this bill because we've been able to debate it and have had some insight on it. But the bill for appropriations, we have no idea. I've seen nothing on it.
Good golly. Now, talking about the National Defense Authorization Bill or the defense bill, we've heard as well, I mean, as you go through some of this stuff, how much in it is actually not related to military? Because my understanding is this is for our military funding to defend the nation. What else is in it that's not military related?
Well, that's a couple of things we've been fighting off this week. We got to the end of the negotiations on the bill, and Senator Schumer and Pelosi said, well, we also want to do a marijuana section of this bill for marijuana legalization. And, we want to do a whole other new entitlement program. And, we want to do other things on permitting that no one has seen before on how they're going to change the aspects on permitting for transmission lines and for oil and gas. And I just don't trust any of that process for them. We were able to successfully fight all of those off and to say, hey, we're not going to do non-defense things into this, especially things we've never even debated before in the House and the Senate. It's never even been through committee. No one's had an opportunity to speak into. So we've been successfully fighting those off for the last several weeks, and we're able to get those out. We were able to get something into it as well in the debate, and that is protection on the COVID vaccine. This has been one of my big frustrations the last 2 years, is how the Biden administration has been firing members of the military if they don't cave on the issue of the COVID vaccine. If they had a religious exemption on it, they weren't given that answer at all. They were just put on hold on the side, or individuals that just said, hey, I don't want to be able to do this particular vaccine. We're now through the COVID for the folks that are least vulnerable. You're talking young and healthy, which defines the members of our military as young and healthy. Those folks are at very low risk in this, and we wanted to be able to give them the option to say they're not mandated to do that. We finally win that argument in this National Defense Authorization.
That would be nice. I am excited about that. U.S. Senator James Lankford, I know you're a busy guy. I know we're running out of time. Last question for you, but now after the election this week on the final seat in the Senate, putting Democrats up 51-49 on in the U.S. Senate, is there a concern about the repealing of the filibuster to where we could see some more extreme bills coming out of the Senate with the Democrats leading right now, or do you think that the filibuster may actually stay intact for a while?
I think the filibuster will stay intact because they don't have the House of Representatives. If they're going to kill the filibuster, they want to have the House at the same time so they can ram through all the bills in rapid speed. The House is not going to do that since it's in Republican control. What it does affect, though, is every single committee was equally divided last year with equal numbers. Now every committee will not have equal numbers for this next session, which means they'll be able to get things through committee very fast, including nominees. There were a lot of nominees that were some of the worst progressives that we were able to stop in the last 2 years in committee that we will not be able to stop anymore. There'll be no restraint for the type of people that Biden's going to put in his administration now. So we expect some very hardcore progressives to come into the administration, even more so than what they already have.
Something to look forward to for 2023, I guess. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. But at least we have the House of Representatives, and you guys, I know, are fighting the best you can in the Senate. It's U.S. Senator James Lankford from the state of Oklahoma. I appreciate the time very much, my friend. Keep up the fight. It's going to be a big 2023 year. Even though we have the minority in the Senate, I'm still optimistic about doing something somewhat reasonable. So keep up the fight. Look forward to chatting with you again real soon, my friend.
Will do. Look forward to it. God is still God. Nothing's changed on that. So we'll keep up the work and keep it. So I just tell everybody, pray and go to work. And we'll keep at the task on it. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas to you. Back here on The Voice of Reason.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to The Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring The Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
Bring some reason into your day. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today for a pre-Friday celebration. Thanks again to U.S. Senator James Lankford out of the state of Oklahoma. Great guy to talk to. We appreciate everything he's doing out there. This is the mindset now of the Republicans. So just to let you know, this National Defense Authorization Act, or the military funding bill that is officially passed it now out of the House of Representatives with a vote of, I want to say only 80 people voted against it. Let me see if I can find the vote here. Yeah, I want to say only 80 individuals voted against it, but it was a pretty overwhelming pass because Republicans say they got what they wanted out of it. They were able to repeal the COVID-19 vaccine mandates for the military individuals, which is a good win. That should have been like common sense. Like, yeah, let's get rid of that. That's not even on the table as a negotiation. We need to negotiate further by getting rid of other things, like he had mentioned during our conversation with getting rid of marijuana in the bill. What does that have to do with military? Why is that not a separate bill to be discussed on its own? I got to say, man, I'm really tired of those bills where they just cram all of this garbage into it. We need to have specific bills for each specific thing, and then we know exactly what it is. And when you call it something, that's what it actually has to be referred to as. That's what it has to be involving. Not just like, oh, yeah, it's a military bill, so what are you going to do? Oh, yeah, we're going to unionize journalists to be able to get paid from social media when they have their articles distributed on social media to make sure that they get their fair share because we want their content out there. Unionizing an already unionized organization like journalism and media so that way they get their fair shake from social media. What does that have to do with the military and national defense? in the budget for the military. Now, we did get like a 4.8% increase in salary for the military. That's awesome. But here's where we get to play the game, and here's where Democrats love to play their game. According to CNN, Joe Biden in the Biden administration says that it's a quote-unquote mistake to repeal the vaccine mandate for the military, but they don't know whether Biden will sign it or not. So here's the way that they love to play this game. Is that, as we know, they pressure Republicans to do stuff, and if we don't do it, then we're the most evil human beings on the face of the earth. We want people dying in the streets. We don't want the military to get their pay bumps. We don't want the military to get their benefits. We're the heartless jerks that actually don't care about the military, which obviously isn't true in any way, shape, or form, but that's the way they push us to be, and they accuse us of being, and that's what they go after. So they say that we don't care about them, so you need to push this. While we say, no, we only want specific things in the bill. And when we do compromise, they throw us the bone, and then they act holier than thou, like the Biden administration, saying, well, it's a mistake, but we'll still consider signing it. Republicans negotiated this in there, and it's a minute piece of the bill that really doesn't do anything except for, get rid of a vaccine mandate that shouldn't have been there in the first place. It's a mistake. We don't like it, but we'll allow it if you do something else for us. Take lessons, Republicans. Take lessons, for conservatives, because this is how they dominate. When you act as the authoritator, you become the authoritator. Remember the whole talk? If you go to, who are some of the motivational speakers? I don't even remember some of their names. I don't follow any motivational speakers because I am that speaker. Although I'm not much motivational, I'm just more of an entertainer. But nonetheless, you ever go to the motivational speakers that are like, hey, the whole group of people in society, and they're just going along, they're sitting in the norm, they're just kind of going along with everybody else. They're the sheep, they're the followers. You need to be that leader. You need to be the one to stand out. You need to set that trend. You need to do this. Well, guess what? That's what Democrats are doing. They set the tone. They act as the holier-than-thou elitist of, we'll allow this. We'll allow the Republicans to have some part of this bill in here, as long as you pass the 95% that's a bunch of garbage that doesn't really do anything. We'll allow your little peon bill to be in here as well, I guess. We'll consider it. And the Republican leadership of Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy and the other Rhino Republicans, oh, thank you. Hey, we did it. All right, we go ahead and pass it now. We're all good. I'm very concerned about our leadership in 2023. I don't know. Got to be honest. I'm a little concerned of what it's going to look like as we move forward. It's time for Republicans to act like the leaders, be the adults, because the Democrats, they're the temper tantrum teenagers that are throwing the temper tantrum every time they don't get what they want. It's time for us to stand up and be the adults and say, no, you can't have that candy. Put it down. No more stimulus. Bad Democrats.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. When I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government censorship and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the Voice of Reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the Voice of Reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own Voice of Reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media. Welcome to the Hooser Media Network. It's been a long time coming, and now it's growing bigger and better than we ever imagined. The Hooser Media Network is so much more than just the Voice of Reason. It's a network for you as a listener and you as a podcaster. It's a network for any kind of talk on any kind of topic, bringing podcasters together to give you a new way to think about the world, and it's any type of show from entertainment to educational. Check out all of our great programs, like Dr. Devin Verana with If They Knew.
Yeah, and it gives you tangible tools. I mean, I'm sure she just mentioned that some people might be mad at the government. I just can't imagine.
No.
I think there's a little bit of anger in the world these days, but I was listening to Wayne Dyer this morning, and he said, if you grab an orange and you squeeze it, what comes out? Juice. What kind of juice? orange juice every time, right? It's not going to be apple juice. It's never going to be mango juice. It's always going to be orange juice. So whatever is in us is going to come out when we're squeezed. And so I'm sure you're learning that like taking yourself through this process continually just adds more and more power, more and more depth of compassion and joy and freedom and all those good feeling things, because you're clearing that space out.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Now take people, so for anybody listening out there that might have an object of anger, whether it's somebody or something or, objects out in the world these days, take us into some tactical, practical things that they can do. Number one, I'm sure, is to come see you. But what are some other things?
So I skipped that one on purpose when I was going through this. But the first book that changed my life, and I listened to it before I signed up for the, I listened to her 1 hour Zoom before I signed up for the class. She was interviewing a man who told us about a book called The Four Agreements. And so then when you get into the class, we study the book called Forgive for Good by Fred Luskin. And we went through a process by Michael Brown called The Presence Process. These are all 3 books. And I hate to be this honest, but let me be this honest. You can read those 3 books and know everything I'm going to teach you. But like any good class, I mean, just because I signed up for a class in college, I buy the books. You really need someone to guide you through them.
That plus tune into Spiritual Smorgasbord with Desiree and Cheyenne.
It is, and we talked about that because then, of course, other things started to happen after that. Of course, that was not my last doctor's visit by no means. However, we talked about it, and I thought, our ancestors were so smart. They know, whatever ails us, there's a cure for on this planet. We're just not smart enough to know how to use it, but our ancestors were. We need to get back to that. Modern medicine, basically what that is it is what you get from the plant, the healing benefit, just on steroids with side effects.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, modern medicine is considered sexy. It's fast resolving. It's instant gratification. But, and so like plant-based formula, the raw, natural plant-based formula is what is going to work. It's going to be great. It just takes a while. And people want that instant gratification.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of people try
It's been marketed
something.
to them that way too.
It
They're like,
has.
oh, that's the old way. It's going to take you forever. But if you just take this, you wake up tomorrow and you can have whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want.
But at what cost?
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
my leg is broken, but have some Oxycontin.
Yes.
It's like, dude, your leg is still severely broken. You just can't feel anything.
Yeah. And it's like, so let's go to nature. Let's see.
Yeah.
You know what? There's pain relievers in nature. Marijuana is a great pain reliever.
Yes.
For one. I mean, just
mentally and physically.
Yes. Well, I mean, but there's other remedies out there. And everything that ails us, there's a cure for on this planet.
This whole room smells like peppermint.
We're all getting cured.
We're all getting cured right now. It's a beautiful essential oil I bought from a local, I guess you could say apothecary shelf, but I'm getting healed right now.
Yes, exactly. It is. And it's all around us. We just need to know how to look for it. And I'm sorry, but that's kind of what we were discussing. And that kind of was what started this whole journey. And what I'm very fortunate that, my spouse and I are together on this. It's not just one of us having a spiritual journey. It's that we're doing this together.
Listen to those shows and so much more on our website, where you can find live streaming, links to the podcast, links to social media, more content, and so much more. It's all online at HooserMedia.com.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right you are. Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out today for a pre-Friday celebration. Multiple radio stations, TV, live streaming, podcasting, however you watch or listen to the show. We love you to death. Always love you and appreciate you joining into the show and having a conversation, unveiling the layers of the onion, going a bit deeper than what most talk show hosts do on the radio or anywhere else. Welcome back in as we talk about the leadership out of Washington, D.C. It is a cause for concern. I do want to get into some other issues later on if we have a chance as well regarding the Tweety investigations on AOC and more. There's a tweet from Adam Schiff If you remember that, Yahoo, the one trying to impeach former President Donald Trump multiple times for the ridiculousness. He's made some claims on Twitter because he hates the fact that you have free speech on the Tweety now. We'll get into that here in just a bit. But as we talk about social media and the interweb, I got to admit, this is not an area of expertise for me in any way, shape, or form, which is why I'm really excited to have our next guest on the program.
What's trending today?
As we try to learn more about, now again, I'm part of the millennial generation. I'm 34, and yet I still don't know much about cryptocurrencies or some of those online currencies. And many of my listeners, I get messages all the time asking, what the heck is this that's going on? And I got to admit, I don't know a whole lot, and this is why we're here, is to educate ourselves. So I'm learning just as much as you are as we go here. Excited to have our next guest on the program. He's back on with us, which is good to have. The Money Confusion is the book, How Illiteracy About Currencies and Inflation Sets the Stage for the Crypto Revolution. What is the future of the crypto industry? Excited to have back on the program with us here, Mr. John Tamney. John, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on. And what do I think the future is? I think it's what it's always been. You understand money intimately because you understand what it is to buy things. Money is as old as production is. It was sometimes cowrie shells, sometimes it was cigarettes, it's been teeth, it's been all sorts of things throughout history. We've always needed something that we agree upon as a measure of value to exchange real wealth with. And so the crypto future I see is just private money that's more trustworthy, that's less likely to be devalued, essentially replacing government money that has a history of being devalued.
That's a good way to look at that. I love that perspective from it. Is there still a future with cryptocurrencies now? I've been watching it. I want to say I put in about a year ago, I put about $160 into like Dogecoin and Shiba Coin. And I think I'm down to like $60 right now. So I didn't put a whole lot into it, and I've been watching it slowly drop. But with the quote-unquote bust in the bubble that we're seeing in cryptocurrencies go down, I know that Bitcoin dropped to one of the lowest levels that it's seen in a long time just recently. Is there still a future for it, and are we just going through a transitional phase, or is it dying off, do you think?
Of course there's a future, and the future is ensured by the fact that there's been this big correction. That's a sign of a market that's getting serious, of a market that's getting serious about sifting out what doesn't make sense, what's not worthy as a measure of money. Let's never forget that 100 years ago, thousands of car makers were formed in the industrial Midwest. Just about every single one of them failed. Did that signal the end of cars? No, it signaled their emergence as an essential fact of life. Remember, at the beginning of the 21st century, just about every internet company died. Was that a sign of the internet shrinking as part of our lives? Quite the opposite. And so I think what we're seeing here is the inevitable shaking out of the bad on the way to a very serious private market for money emerging that's going to push out government money. And that will be good because we work for money, but what we're working for is what money can be exchanged for. So when governments devalue our money, we get robbed of the fruits of our work. And so we're going to see markets basically lean on government to get better about it.
Yeah, I like that. So you're saying my 7 million shares of Shiba Coin might actually be valued at, if it hits a penny, I will be making a lot of good money, and I may not be on the radio any longer.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And you're kidding around, but you're making an essential point that people need to hear.
Yeah.
If people are speculating on money, that's the surest sign that it's not money. Good money you don't speculate on because it would be like speculating on the foot. Well, the foot is constant. Historically, money was constant too. And as I stress in the book, until the 1970s, there weren't even currency markets. And there weren't currency markets just because the dollar had a stable definition. And the world's currencies were pegged to the dollar, which was at 1/35 of an ounce of gold. And so what's odd is modern times of floating money. That's the historical non-norm. And I think we're going to see a reversal back to more trusted money in the future.
I like that. So now the next question is, with individuals going that way and with the evolution of currency and with more people getting onto crypto, how and when is the government going to come in and begin to regulate it and find a way to control it and or tax it down the road? Because that's what they're going to try and do here soon.
Well, it's a great question, and I'm optimistic there because I don't think governments can regulate what they don't understand. And they've proven over time that they don't really get money. And so I think what's going to happen is kind of out of nowhere. Remember how Uber, all of a sudden, everyone was using Uber to get rides? And it was so fast, it flew so fast into the popular culture that governments were too late to regulate it in any meaningful way, which was a good thing. And I think we're going to say the same thing here, precisely because the crash has people thinking it's going to be hard for government to regulate something that they can't touch or feel. And that's good. And so gradually we're just going to see, you say that you're 34, I think we're going to see young people, kids in their 20s, more and more using private money to transact, and they will teach us how to use it. And by the time we all learn, it will be too late for government to regulate it too much.
That would be really nice. I mean, as conservatives that we are, we like as little government regulation as possible. And with the value of the dollar going down, something's got to be done. I know there's been a push on the physical level to try and go back to a gold standard of some way of individuals trying to invest in precious metals with gold and silver. But this almost seems like it's another alternative to that is going to be difficult for the government to get their hands on, or like you said, to even understand in the first place. That's going to open up a lot of doors. When do you think the consumer market, the private market's going to start accepting more diverse types of cryptocurrencies? I know like Tesla's trying to accept Dogecoin for those that want to buy Tesla vehicles and that sort of stuff, but when can it become tangible enough to use it with everyday transactions, do you think?
Well, one of the things that I predict in the book is that Elon Musk will be one of the people who brings crypto or private money to us. And I speculate that in the book that the reason he was looking to buy Twitter and has now bought it is because he views it as a way to spread trusted money around the world. And so when do I think? My sense is it's already happening now, but I think fairly soon we're going to start hearing about people going into retailers and saying, do you take this kind of coin? Do you take this kind of token? And it's just going to be a very sudden thing. Nowadays we say, do you take American Express? Do you take Discover? Do you take Visa? More and more we're going to see it. Young people in particular going into younger focused stores, do you take this? And it's just going to happen. Suddenly, more and more people will circulate what they trust. And with that, you're going to see it's going to be a very rapid and very exciting development, because one of the worst things you can do to a society is to stabilize the money. And private money, I think, is going to be the path to removing that destabilization.
We're talking with John Tamny, author of the book, The Money Confusion, How Illiteracy About Currencies and Inflation Sets the Stage for the Crypto Revolution, which you can find John on his Tweety at John Tamny, and you can see all the information there as well. Talk about real quickly, and I have to admit I don't know much about this, along with a lot of my listeners asking what in the world is going on here, but the FTX crypto scandal that's been in the news lately, what happened and what's going on here?
My sense is I think a lot of people are going to regret saying too much, because I think there's so much we don't know. I think on the surface, my obvious sense is the correction that you and I have discussed made a lot of crypto plays a bad thing, or basically a bad investment, made them insolvent, forced them into bankruptcy. I don't get the feeling that he's a crook or anything like that. If he is, let's throw the book at him.
Yeah.
My sense is that, as with every development in any business sector, there's always lots of failure at first. Again, think of the internet. Think of the cars. Anything that's new, there's going to be a lot of attempts to invent the future that are going to end in fiery, bad fashion. And I just think this is one of them. It's so unfortunate. You hurt like hell for the people who've lost money. But this is the inevitable. This is what's called progress. A lot of failure has to take place on the way to progress.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like it's just the trial and error period. As we get this more streamlined and we have more of a set standardized system of cryptocurrency, it's kind of the trial and error of what works and what doesn't work is kind of what I'm getting the feeling of this, correct?
Absolutely, and this is true in all ways. Let's not forget that when the 20th century was ending, most transactions were still paid for via checks sent U.S. mail. I mean, the vast majority, over 90%. Nowadays, think about all that we do just on the internet. But it took a lot of mistakes, a lot of ridicule about the internet, no profits, and Amazon.org, and all these insults of what was new. Of Jeff Bezos, there's video of him going on Jay Leno's talk show and being ridiculed about his company. You have to get through a lot of this to get to the good stuff, and I think we're going to see it here.
John, we got about 30 seconds here as we kind of wrap things up. This is not advice on investments in any way, shape, or form, but are you preferential to one type of cryptocurrency than another? Is it Bitcoin? Is it the Dogecoin? Is it something new that's coming up? What do you think is going to take off here soon?
I'm not preferential. I predict in the book that Bitcoin will be the Netscape of this big boom, something that leads it but ultimately isn't standing at the end. I don't have a preference. What I have a preference for is money that's trusted, and we haven't seen that yet. Once that money comes out circulated that holds its value throughout time, that's what I want. As in, I want the investment that doesn't go up.
Yeah, the stability in the market's what it's all about, and that's where it's at. John Tamny, The Money Confusion is the book. Go and check it out. John, it's great to talk to you again, my friend. Let's do it again real soon.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, always a pleasure. I love talking about it, learning more about it. A new industry and something that I'm looking forward to learning more about. All right, we'll take a break. We'll wrap up the program today with just the last few minutes of it. What else is going on out there in the world? Right back here on The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to The Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring The Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. As we continue to grow as a radio and TV program, we're continuously working behind the scenes to try and bring more common sense and reason to more patriotic Americans all over the country. That's why we're super excited to be working with the OpsLens team to bring you the voice of reason every single day. OpsLens is a national online network bringing you incredible content all day from hosts all over the country. And each host brings their own unique experience and expertise to the current events, reaching hundreds of thousands of patriotic Americans daily. Make sure to check out their website at opslens.com. Make sure to download the OpsLens website and follow them on all of these social media sites that you like, so you can watch all their live streaming content, including ours right here with The Voice of Reason. Plus, if you want more of The Voice of Reason, check out our website online at HooserReason.com. There you can listen to the live audio feed of the show every single day. You can read our monthly blog. You can check out our satire infomercials. You can see pictures of what we're doing, upcoming schedule of events, and a heck of a lot more. On the website, you can find our list of radio and TV affiliates in your area. Find our social media links, and while you're there, sign up for our free newsletter. Over the last 2 years, your Voice of Reason newsletter has grown exponentially. It's completely free, and in it we give you your monthly motivation, upcoming civic holidays for the month, a recap from the show from last month, upcoming guests on the program, along with the latest news from our Hooser Media Network. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is go to the website at HooserReason.com and become the next Hooserholic. Finally, follow us on all of our social media sites. With the iron grip control on content from the radical left, unless you follow us, you're not going to be able to see us. It's been an ongoing battle with shadow banning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where even our own fans are having a hard time finding our content. But the battle isn't over. We'll continue to bring you the best content we can on as many platforms as possible. You can follow us with the handle @HooserReason. No matter what social media site you like to use, you can find us there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.tv, Instagram, TikTok, OurFreedomBook.com, Parler, and of course our website at HooserReason.com. Don't miss it while we give you a heads up on some of the events that I may be attending or speaking at, updates of behind-the-scene projects, or just something sarcastic to try and rile up the left. The battle for freedom is real, and we want to be part of that battle, as we want you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Conservative principles happen at the grassroots level, and that's what we're here to help with. And together, you and I can fight back against this virus that's spreading across the nation that is socialist policy, trying to destroy this country. We can bring us back to some constitutional values, some individual sovereignty, and the right for you to be able to make your own choices when you deem necessary for you, your family, and your community. In a world of fake news and information overload, it's time to bring back some reason, common sense, guidance, and a little bit of wisdom. And that's what we're here to do. This is the Voice of Reason.
Fighting for freedom every day. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into it. Last few minutes of the program. Thanks again to John Tamny on the program. Fascinating conversation. Again, I'm really trying. Trust me, I'm trying to catch up with the times. I'm kind of an old school guy. I may only be quote unquote 34 and not as old as other individuals that are on the radio, but I'm trying to be hip and cool and retro with some of the cryptocurrencies. I have a little bit of money into it. It's kind of a fun thing to watch, and so far it hasn't paid off. But if we hang on to it, then maybe it'll work its way back up again as it stabilizes itself. But John Tamny, you can check out his book on the illiteracy of currencies on Amazon and his website and his Tweety as well at John Tamny. I'm trying to read this Twitter page here. Adam Schiff, as you know, the Democrat congressman from California that tried to go after Donald Trump and was able to get Trump impeached twice due to the Russian collusion that didn't actually happen at all. Yeah, that guy, that's right. Well, he's one of them that are on the bandwagon of the left side of the aisle that absolutely despises the open free speech on social media because you need to have it censored. You need to try and silence people. You need to try and shut them down. You can't have an open dialogue or conversation. Yeah, that guy. Adam Schiff made a tweet earlier this morning, and this is what he tweeted. On Elon Musk's Twitter, slurs against black people have tripled. Slurs against women are up 33%. Slurs against Jewish people are up 61%, and slurs against gay men are up 58%. These numbers are abysmal and unacceptable. Today, Representative Market Takano and I are demanding action. From Elon Musk's Twitter. Now, Elon Musk himself commented on the post and said, all of this is false. Hate speech impressions are actually down by a third for Twitter now versus prior to the acquisition. Whoopsies. No, I don't know where Adam Schiff is getting his information on why he thinks that it's up 33%, 61%, 58%, all these different numbers that he's quoting out there on the hate speech that's on social media. I'm assuming that it's just whatever he's seeing on his feed that he considers to be slur or hate speech, which to Democrats, it's any time a Republican tweets out anything at all, it could be about taxes and, he hates, poor people. That's a slur against poor people. Here's a picture of my family. Merry Christmas. Oh, that's a slur against black people because apparently there's no black people in the family, or vice versa. Like, that's how crazy the Democrats have been lately. Elon Musk, I'm assuming, has actually the trends that are going on social media, and he did tag the hashtag community notes on there as well, to where you can see some of the trends that are going on on social media. So I'm assuming that he's got some more accurate numbers than Adam Schiff. It's kind of fun when Democrats get called out on the lies that they try to promote, because they just like to spread random things, and then hopefully people get on board. Because if you say it enough times, then people actually believe it. And if Democrats are able to say that all of this hate speech is going on social media, once you get rid of a lot of the censorship, then less Democrats will want to use it, and therefore you become an echo chamber for one side, which is what they want, because they don't actually want a dialogue. Kind of like how the Democrats are eating their own with AOC now that she's being attacked by the Democratic Socialist Party, or the Democrat, what is it? What do they call themselves? The Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA, as they're attacking her for supporting the ending of the railroad strike because they shut down the union and did not allow the union to push the envelope even further. How dare them? She's getting attacked there. And then the Democrats are trying to find a way to defend on why the Biden administration has released a Brittany Griner from Russia, and why they did the trade with the Russian mobster, what do they call him? Hold on here. I got to find his name again. The Russian arms dealer that they called, he had some crazy name, the bringer of death or something crazy, nicknamed of death, the bout with the flamboyant arms dealer that's in our custody, that's actually been a terrorist. That's who he traded out for a women's basketball player that smoked pot in Russia. By the way, the one that knelt for the national anthem and hated our country, we've now traded a terrorist for a women's WNBA player, because that's a fair trade. We're going to trade an arms dealer that despises the nation, that's a terrorist, for a women's basketball player who despises the country. And they're trying to defend it, saying, oh, well, you know what? She was being treated horribly, and the Biden administration standing up for the black female icon that was being treated like garbage. That was the quote word, by the way, from Van Jones on CNN. I mean, cool, I guess. I really hope she learned her lesson, and now she appreciates what this country does for her, and that we don't throw her in jail for smoking the marijuana like that, especially in a Russian prison that probably does not have the best living conditions. But nonetheless, maybe she's changed her ways and she appreciates our country a little bit more. But again, welcome to the brilliancy of our trades from our Biden administration and our federal government. That does it for us today. Podcast up in a little bit. Back at it tomorrow for the final day of the week. Until then, be your own voice of reason. This is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you on the radio. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the Voice of Reason, along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the Voice of Reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own Voice of Reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.